All right, well, let's call this meeting of the Finance Committee to order, please. I do not see any public comment, so we can move forward to the business items. Mr. Oberst, would you update us on the purchasing?
Sure.
agenda?
First thing is purchasing agenda, not a real big agenda, some usual expenditures this time of year. One small bond project to some additional equipment for the museum high school. And we're actually going to spend a little bit of our sinking fund dollars on replacing it's a soccer field, right?
It's a mini soccer.
Mini
field
soccer
at
field, Chavez. So
Perfect.
nothing out of the ordinary there.
All right, good. I did have a note from Mr. Ross, just inquiring about the increase in the Power School group. Do you want to expand on
Yeah,
that? That's the business software, correct?
It's our business software we've been in the process of implementing the last year and a half or so. Because our software was so old, it's turned into a major, as we knew it would, a major task to get it updated. Since we first signed the contract, there's actually was a new regulatory module that had been developed, and that regulatory module does all the reporting for MIPSers and other aspects of a regulatory reporting. So that was some additional dollars that we needed to spend now to get. We didn't acquire that initially because it wasn't available. Now it's it's available now. It makes the regulatory reporting a lot easier. So that and a little bit more implementation fees. We hope to go live on January 1st, and that's why we had an increase for this.
Very good. All right, other questions on the purchasing agenda? All right, may I have a motion to move forward the purchasing agenda to the full board?
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right. Sale of West Leonard.
West Leonard contract, can you want to give a little summary of, this was on the agenda several months ago or a year ago, and anyways.
We had received an offer, an unsolicited offer, probably a year ago, and it was, the offer was for affordable housing. There was some question of what that meant, and anyway, that offer ended without any action. Superintendent asked us to reach out to everybody who had inquired before, which we did, and the offer that's before us is the largest offer that we received. It is above, it originally was above appraisal significantly. Appraisal, the last appraisal, which was August of 17, was $315,000. It originally came in at $420,000. And the proposed use is an event venue. In discussing with the offering entity, Cherry Street Capital, there's a cell tower on the site. And we had some discussions about an easement, how we could retain that. That was not included in the offer. And the offer is revised at $525 to include I guess the right term is purchase of the cell tower lease.
Right.
Which, as we look at it, is probably a good long-term plan rather than trying to retain a piece of land with an easement. So the current offer is $525 with the whole site, including the cell tower lease, transferring to them. And then it would be an event venue. By policy, we have to hold a public information meeting for everybody within 500 feet. Those mailings have gone out, and assuming there's positive action today, we would hold that on Wednesday and then have that feedback before board action at the next board meeting.
Perfect.
Yeah, this group, they already have an interest in an event center called Cheney Place, which is on North Monroe. It's been there for a couple of years and very successful. Event center, wedding receptions, corporate events, high school proms, family parties, whatever the case may be. So they would have to get it rezoned, right?
They will have to get it
But
rezoned.
they are pretty confident that should not be an issue. As you know, right along there, it's more commercial now anyways. And our school builds are all zone residential.
Our sites are residential. It does sit between a cemetery and a car wash. The residential is on the north back side. So it's not completely surrounded.
And
Yeah.
Could you help me recall, what was the original bid that we had received a year and a half ago? How much was that?
It was, I believe it was right at appraisal,
Yeah.
Which was like,
315.
okay. I remember something like a 238 or,
It may have been.
That was-
there
that may have
one
been Pine.
before.
Yeah, there was
Okay.
another property too, right?
The
Yeah.
Pine Street option
Oh, that was
is,
the Pine
is-
Street.
yeah, it's
Okay,
like
okay.
260 or 280, I can remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we did have one, probably 2 or 3 years ago for West Leonard to make it an office building,
okay.
that then they withdrew the offer.
I do have a question. You said that something would be held on Wednesday. Was that for the families in the neighborhood, also families in the district? Who was that group?
Board policy directs us to have a public information meeting for
So for
every
everyone.
property owner within 500 feet
Awesome. And they were notified when?
by mail. It went out,
Last week, right?
there's a time limit, so they had to be, I think it was the Friday before last week, because we had to have it to them 10 days, or in the mail 10 days before the date
Oh, gotcha. Where's the meeting held?
here.
Here, okay. Great. Other questions about this sale? Just a reminder as well that, and please correct me if I don't say this quite right, but I do know also it's our policy, or there's a clause in the sale agreement that if they were to change their intended use of the property, we have the opportunity to buy that back. So if for some reason they said, oh, never mind, we don't want this to be an event center, we want to do something else, GRPS has the right to buy that back at the same rate, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
It's a standard clause, directive of the board, yes.
Yes, perfect.
How long is that clause in effect?
I believe it's 10 years.
Yeah.
Okay, hearing no other discussion, I will ask for a motion to move forward the sale of West Leonard Elementary to the full board.
Support.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. Museum High School additional funds.
Ken, why don't you address that too, if you will?
At the conclusion of the Hughes Museum High School project, 2 things happened. One, we received some reimbursable funds on the construction project. And then we had some additional costs that were due to the fire marshal and the city inspectors to close out. So what we're asking for is, typically those reimbursed funds go to the general fund. We'd like them applied to this project to balance out the additional costs that we incurred. So our net is not any different, but it does require us to ask for a total dollar allowed to expend increase, and that's what we're asking for.
Great.
So the actual amount of, in the case of Museum High School, Museum School period, as you recall, being funded jointly with bond dollars and then a major fundraising campaign. So the actual dollar amounts of the bond and fundraising campaign will not change because we got some reimbursements in here. So we just want to, dollars out of pocket won't change from those 2 sources. The total project cost is going to increase by that $207,000, which is what we're asking for. And just to let you know, the food service equipment, as I was, with Shatkin and I met, in our food service operations, which we provide services for, I don't know what the number is now, 30 non-GRPS schools, funding completely with federal dollars. And, we've essentially we have run over the years in excess of revenue over expenditure, an income amount, if you will. Federal regulations limit the amount of our fund balance in that. And so if we have excess fund balance and we are allowed to spend it down, we spend it down to that, get it down to that minimum level amount, a maximum level amount. So $156,000 is right out of the food service, excess food service dollars that we need to spend, or we have to send it back to the government, which we don't want to do. So, and of course, the Pocket Park, that was from Downtown Grand Rapids, Inc., that they reimbursed us for costs of that too.
Great, thank you. Questions? discussion? All right, may I have a motion, please, to move forward these additional funds to the full board?
Support.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. August financial statements.
August financials, I'm looking at the dashboard report. Obviously, the first couple of months of our new fiscal year, school is not in session. And two things about August financial. One is, as you will look at that, we have yet to receive state aid. Our first state aid payment usually comes in October, or will come in October. However, we do get most of our property taxes collected in the summertime. So you'll see almost $31 million has been collected as of the end of August from property taxes. Again, since school is not in session, the expenditure side is just primarily central office expenditures. So a lot of revenue in July and August, little expenses, and we generate a significant fund balance excess of almost $22.3 million. So at this point, these don't mean a whole lot, to be honest with you. It's,
Right.
you know, it's our first look. 2019 annual budget in the middle column there is the budget that was approved back in June, and those are updated capital expenditure numbers in terms of bond dollars and other things. So as of the first 2 months, we're running according to schedule. Obviously, the expenditures will continue to catch up with revenue as the months go on, and we'll start receiving state aid payments next month also. So that's for your information.
Thank you. Questions about the financial plan? All right. Warm, safe, and dry, and bond.
Warm,
Go.
safe, and dry. No updates other than next month we'll add the Chavez turf on.
Yep.
The bond, the air conditioning projects, Campus L and Frost L are running. And then the other four, North Park, East Leonard, Shawmut, and Brookside, the contracts were authorized at your last board meeting, and minor work has started. Mostly equipment's been ordered, but they've started doing what they can. One of the big things is the electrical systems have to be upgraded. That will take place over holiday break. Consumers need scheduling time. They also need to shut the buildings down for several days to make that transition. And that will allow us to have the new air conditioning systems on April sometime when it warms up and we need them. Keep in mind, part of this project, we're adapting or replacing, depending on the building, the heating system and upgrading that. And then North Park is also getting new windows on the west side of the building, and that will be done in the summer to complete that project. But for the most part, we'll be up and running for the next need for cooling in the spring. The other projects, Ottawa, Union, Southwest High School, the designs are moving along. Still the intent with Ottawa to have an equipment package bringing in the end of October, early November. It may be that we need to go direct to a board meeting, but we'll know that at the October Finance Committee to know if we need to request that. Ottawa and Southwest High School, the main bid packs will be in January, coming to the January Finance. Union, we're looking probably May to June for that.
Okay. Great. Questions about bond projects? Safe, dry. Okay. No policy this afternoon, right?
Nothing to
That wraps
report,
it
no.
up. Okay, well, meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.